Welcome to our 18-day series on the epic battle of Kurukshetra, the legendary war between the Pandavas and Kauravas. Day 7, Arjuna's tactical brilliance. As the seventh day dawned on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, the Pandavas were more determined than ever to overcome the seemingly insurmountable challenge posed by Bhishma. Krishna, understanding the urgency, devised a strategy to exploit Bhishma's sense of dharma and compassion. Krishna instructed Arjuna to focus on targeting the key warriors and commanders in the Kaurava army rather than engaging Bhishma directly. Arjuna, wielding his Gandiva bow with unparalleled skill, systematically began to dismantle the Kaurava forces. His arrows found their mark, striking down several key warriors and causing panic among the enemy ranks. Meanwhile, Bhima, with his immense strength, continued to wreak havoc among the Kaurava soldiers, slaying many of them in fierce hand-to-hand combat. The Pandava forces, inspired by Arjuna's tactical brilliance, rallied and began to push back the Kauravas. Though Bhishma continued to fight valiantly, the Kaurava army was shaken by the precision and coordination of the Pandavas. The day ended with the Pandavas gaining ground and the Kauravas realizing that their initial momentum was slipping. Day 8, Bhishma's ruthless assault. On the 8th day, Bhishma decided to abandon his earlier restraint and unleashed his full fury on the battlefield. His arrows, like a storm, decimated the Pandava ranks, and his chariot became a beacon of destruction wherever it moved. The Kaurava forces, buoyed by Bhishma's renewed vigor, pressed the attack with relentless force. The Pandavas were hard-pressed to maintain their formations as Bhishma's assault threatened to overwhelm them. Arjuna, sensing the peril, once again engaged Bhishma, but despite his best efforts, he was unable to stop the elder warrior's onslaught. Duryodhana, pleased with Bhishma's performance, urged the Kaurava soldiers to press their advantage. The day saw some of the fiercest fighting of the war, with both sides suffering tremendous losses. By the end of the day, the Pandavas were on the defensive, struggling to contain the relentless advance of the Kauravas. Bhishma's wrath had turned the tide once more in favor of the Kauravas, and the Pandavas knew they were in desperate need of a new plan to turn the battle around. Day 9, the search for a solution. The 9th day of the Kurukshetra War began with a heavy sense of foreboding among the Pandavas. Bhishma's dominance over the battlefield had become apparent, and they were struggling to find a way to counter him. Yudhishthira, the eldest Pandava, called a council with his brothers and their allies to discuss their options. Krishna, understanding that Bhishma was bound by his code of ethics and his vow to protect the Kuru dynasty, proposed a bold and unconventional plan. He suggested that the Pandavas needed to exploit Bhishma's own sense of dharma, his unwillingness to fight someone unarmed or vulnerable. That day, Arjuna once again faced Bhishma, but this time, instead of attacking directly, he began to adopt a more evasive approach, aiming to tire Bhishma out and create openings for the Pandava forces to attack other key Kaurava warriors. As the battle raged on, the Pandavas executed Krishna's strategy, slowly but steadily gaining ground. Bhishma, although still a formidable force, found himself unable to inflict the same level of damage as in previous days. The day ended with the Pandavas gaining some respite, but they knew that as long as Bhishma remained on the battlefield, ultimate victory would remain elusive. The stage was set for a critical turning point in the war as the Pandavas began to consider the drastic measures necessary to neutralize Bhishma once and for all.